I'm going to show you a fantastic seasonal family feast. This dish is packed full of flavour, it's easy to make and it tastes delicious. It's a mushroom pesto carbonara, so if you love mushrooms, this dish will be perfect for you. So first thing, I want to get a non-stick pan on the heat. We need to get these mushrooms cooked. So while that's heating up, we've got our mushrooms. We've got beautiful chestnut mushrooms here, and I've also got a few shiitake mushrooms, so they're really intensely flavoured. So get a knife and then we're just going to slice them up. You want to cut them fairly thin, and the reason why we do this is to get plenty of surface area, which means we can cook all the water out so we're left with an intense flavour. With all pestos, it doesn't matter whether you use the traditional basil, sun-dried tomato, mushrooms, you need the flavour ingredients, you need olive oil, parmesan, and what we're going to use is normally use pine nuts, but today I'm going to use walnuts, nice and seasonal. So into a pan, and then we're just going to add a touch of olive oil so that the nuts get coated. And we can toast these up and really bring the flavour out. Good pinch of sea salt. What we're going to do is really bring these ingredients to life. And for me, that's what good cooking is all about. So once these are nice and toasted, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some lovely seasonal herbs. So I've got some thyme and some rosemary, really kind of robust herbs that work beautifully with walnuts, work with mushrooms. They've got a really great flavour. So in with those, and then in with some rosemary as well. What you'll smell instantly, as soon as they hit that hot pan, you will smell the fragrance of the herbs. You'll start to hear them crackle, and that's the infusion of flavours. So give these a good stir around. So once these walnuts are nice and roasted, we're going to get them straight into a blender. Put the herbs in as well. Any oil that the nuts have cooked in, it's all flavour. We don't want to lose anything. So that same pan straight back on the heat. Now, this rule for cooking mushrooms is always the same. You've got to get all the moisture out. And to do that is with heat and a bit of salt. So we're going to salt the pan first. And that means these mushrooms will then sit on a bed of salt and all the moisture will start to drain out and get a nice even layer. And then we'll drizzle with a little bit of olive oil across the top, and that'll just drip through. And all that oil and everything will all eventually end up in our pesto. And then we've got some more rosemary. So we'll just pick that and we'll chop that. Doesn't have to be a really fine chop, and then straight in with the mushrooms, and then some of this beautiful thyme as well. Rosemary and thyme work so well together. Okay, and straight in. Right, while those mushrooms are cooking, it's time to turn our attention to the pasta. Now I've got a big pan, and if you look at the water, look, it's a rolling boil. It's really important. And then you need to add some salt into there. I always say to all my chefs when I'm cooking and when I'm teaching, the salt water needs to be as salty as the sea. Have a little taste of the water. If it tastes like the sea, then you've got the right amount in there. I promise you, if you do that and you season this pesto up, you won't need to start seasoning your dinner later on. So we've got some pasta here. We've got 500 grams. Usually, you look at about 100 grams per portion. So I'm going to take a little bit away, so I don't need that bit. I'll take this, and all you do is you just twist your pasta and drop it straight into that rumbling boil. So the mushrooms have cooked right down, and you can see, look, there's hardly any left. From what we started, the pan nearly 2/3 full. We've cooked right down, and it just shows you how much moisture is in there. We've cooked all that out now. I'm just going to take a spoonful of mushrooms and just put them to one side, because I want to scatter those on the top at the end so we get a bit of texture. And then the rest of the mushrooms straight in with the walnuts. I want to keep this pan because I'm going to bring all the dish together in this pan here where there's loads of flavour still. Okay, so give that pasta a quick stir. It's looking good. Right, garlic. We need some garlic straight into our pesto. So 2 good sized cloves. And if you just put your garlic clove down, put your knife on top of the clove, put your fingers up. Just give it a tap and it'll just unwrap really easily without fiddling around, and then straight into our blender. We've got some Parmesan cheese. I'm just going to chop this up because the blender's going to do most of the work for me, and then that can go straight in as well. Some good extra virgin olive oil straight in, and that'll help loosen this up as we blend it. And then we're just going to blend this now. Just do it gently. You don't want it to be just a thick paste. You still want a bit of texture in there. So just put it on gently. Okay, so we've blended this and it's not too coarse. So if you look at that, you can still see the ingredients in there. You can see bits of mushroom, bits of cheese, some herbs. It's not just a grey paste almost. Right, do you remember this pan that we actually cooked the mushrooms in? Let's get a spoonful of this pesto straight in. Okay, it's still warm. It's exactly what we want. And our pasta water. If you have a look at this pan, the water that we've cooked the pasta in is actually quite cloudy because there's starch in there. And that same water will help our dish go nice and creamy. So we'll get a couple of tablespoons of that in, and that loosens the pesto. Okay? So now we've got a sauce. Look how creamy that looks now, just from water. Grab some tongs. And always lift your pasta out into your sauce, okay? So lift it out and then straight in. And then just put your tongs together. Just give the pan a nice stir. Look how creamy that looks. And we haven't touched any cream here. It's all come from this beautiful starchy water that most of us throw away. So we're just gonna give that a little stir round. Make sure everything gets coated with that beautiful pesto. So I've got a few mushrooms left to finish it with, and I just want to take a little bit of parsley. I want something nice and fresh and green to finish this with. So we'll chop that up. So we've got parsley, we've got a few of our mushrooms, we've got a little bit of cheese to finish with as well, and then I've got a few roasted walnuts just left over here as well. So we take our big family-sized bowl, and then we are just going to pour the whole thing in. Don't try and spoon it in, just one swift fluid movement straight in. And then we've got our beautiful walnuts here. These are the roasted ones, a few left over from the pasta. Our mushrooms, we'll scatter those on us. So you've got a little bit of extra texture as well. Then we've got our parsley. And then we're just going to finish it with a few shavings of parmesan and a twist of black pepper. And there you go, that is my mushroom pesto carbonara, fit for any family table. I guarantee your family will love this dish, and it is really easy to make.